So, this is Batman Arkham Knight, and it's been nearly a decade since this game has dropped, and somehow I've never gotten around to playing it, but today we are changing that. This is a game I've heard about for years, praised for its graphics, combat and storytelling, and of course, legendary Batmobile. I've watched clips, reviews and walkthroughs, but now I get to finally experience it for myself. But before we do that, let's just take a brief history on the game. Batman Arkham Knight was released on June of 2015, guys. That's very crazy. That's been almost 10 years. Developed by Rocksteady Studios and published by Warner Bros. It's the fourth and final installment in the Arkham series, following Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Origins. Set after the events of Arkham City, the game throws you into Gotham once again, this time under the threat from Scarecrow, who has turned up with a mysterious new villain known as the Arkham Knight. This game was a big deal when it was launched. Rocksteady went all in, bigger maps, fully drivable Batmobile, upgraded combat, and visuals that still hold up in 2025. I've waited long enough, no more watching others play. Today we put on the cowl and see what the hype really was about. And with that, let's get into this. The story picks up right after the events of Arkham City. Joker is dead and gone, and crime rates have actually dropped in Gotham City, but of course it doesn't last long. As we cut to the police officer entering into the diner, someone comes over to him to complain about someone smoking in the corner, and of course the police officer, being a police officer, goes to investigate what was actually going on at that part of the diner that the person was smoking at, and bam, he gets sprayed with fear toxin and he begins opening fire and hallucinating. Then we cut to Batman on the roof. Also, this has to be hands down one of the greatest opening shots in video gaming history ever. Like, the camera pans slowly, then you like begin to see the whole city come into focus, and Batman is like literally just standing there, and all of a sudden you can control the camera, and it's like, I don't know what it does, but it's like really a nice shot. I actually wasn't expecting to be able to control this part of the cutscene, so it came to me as a shock initially. But finding out was really cool that you could control that part of the cutscene. Then we get introduced to Scarecrow, who has threatened the city with fear toxin. A brief note, the whole event of this game takes place in just one night. Like, they don't progress past that night, so everything happening in the game is just literally happening in a one night period. I also think the evacuation serves as a kind of explanation of as to why Gotham is a bit not populated. So the city is empty, and according to Batman, everybody in the city is a criminal. Like, there are no good people left in the city. So if you are driving and you can like hit criminals with your Batmobile, and it's kind of explained the way with everybody in the city is a criminal. We are also introduced to the Penguin and Two-Face. These are characters I've actually not run into in my time playing the game up until the point I am, but we get to see them at the opening cutscene of the introduction.
Scum. Criminals.
Batman meets up with Director Gordon of the GCPD, and you can see him talking to his daughter on the phone, being happy that she made it out of Gotham alive. But we know that that's not the case, as she is also Oracle working for Batman. Also, he talks to Director Gordon about the only clue they have on Scarecrow, and he tells him that it is a car that has been rampaging through Gotham City, and that's the only clue they have on Scarecrow. He's also worried about Scarecrow being insane enough to detonate a biological weapon in Gotham City.
Do you really think Scarecrow's crazy enough to detonate a chemical weapon in Gotham?
I won't let that happen, Jim.
Then a call comes in about an officer being in trouble, and of course Batman has to swing into action. And this is where we get introduced into the hand-to-hand combat of the Batman series. This is just like the previous combat system they had in the previous games, but a bit more fine-tuned and is a bit more responsive. It's a simple enough combat system. You press box to attack, you press Y to parry, and you press O to evade, depending on the context clues you get on screen. So when you see the blue spider senses kind of logo on their head, is you know to counter. Then when you see the red one, you know to evade. Then the box, I think it automatically locks on them. Then you also build the combo meter, so the higher the combo meter, the more you can chain, and it's a very fun combat system. Like, it has been done over by more games than you can think. You rescue the officer, then you get interrupted by the rampaging vehicle that Director Gordon told you was the only lead he had on Scarecrow.
The city's overrun. We don't stand a chance.
Stay here. I'll send someone to pick you up.
What are you doing?
Evening the odds.
And then we get introduced to the Batmobile. This is one of the coolest intro cinematics ever, like, for any vehicle. Like, this is one of the actually the most iconic vehicles in media history, basically.
Oracle, I need to track that military vehicle.
A squad car has picked up the pursuit. I'm relaying its location now.
Also, I forgot to mention, Oracle is also Director Gordon's daughter. So, like, Director Gordon being worried about his daughter, and Batman actually working with his daughter as this, like, a push and pull. I feel it will be something that will come up eventually, but I've not gotten to that part of the story yet. The driving controls are pretty standard. R2 to accelerate, box to brake and reverse, and R2 and box to power slide or drift. Like, you can see that the game was purposely built to be driven on, so you can see the spacing within the roads and all that stuff. You know that, okay, the Batmobile was a planned addition to this iteration of Batman. And also, you can do something with the, I think, X button, where you can, like, slide on the ground. It's usually very fun to do. Also, like I said, since Batman is known for not killing, anytime you run over someone, you can see your tasers at the side of your vehicles. Like, how will I say, it shocks them, so it's like you are not really killing them, you are just incapacitating them. It really doesn't add up, but yeah, a good way to tie up the whole law of the whole thing. Like, you can't have Batman running people over. You finally catch up to the guy driving the vehicle, and you ask him about Scarecrow's location, but he really doesn't know anything, but he points us to the direction of a penthouse in Chinatown after trying to inject us with the fear toxin.
Where's Scarecrow?
Go to hell!
Where is he?
I got nothing to say to you, Batman.
Talk, or I'll crush every bone in your body.
Okay. She's working out of a penthouse in Chinatown. I swear that's all I know.
If you're lying, I'll break the other one.
The other one. Ah!
You send some of the samples of the fear toxin chemicals to Oracle to investigate, but basically you don't know anything about. There have not been any results about the, how will I say, the readings of the fear toxin. So it will take a bit of time before you know what the fear toxin is about. You get to Chinatown, and instead of finding Scarecrow there, you find some of his cronies, and they have locked up Poison Ivy. You fight your way through some of the cronies, and finally you get to talk to Poison Ivy. She told us how Scarecrow planned to kill Batman and take Gotham for the supervillains, I guess. So after talking to Poison Ivy, sadly we had to arrest her and take her in. But before that, we ran into another set of cronies, but this time with vehicles.
Target, sir. He's cornered.
Like I said, these Batmobile cinematics are really over the top. Like, they really went all out with the Batmobile cinematics. And also, like you heard, the guy said the turrets are unmanned turrets, just to make sure that Batman doesn't kill anybody. So they are really hard on that idea that Batman doesn't kill. Then we also get introduced to the battle mode of the Batmobile. The Batmobile has two modes. You can engage the battle mode by holding the L2 button. The L2 button puts it in a kind of very maneuverable state. Then you have a primary fire and a secondary fire, and also a, like, let's say, ultimate type of thing where it locks onto every enemy there, and auto aims them and shoots them with missiles. Another thing I'll praise this game really about is the transitioning between cutscenes and actual gameplay. You honestly can't see the, let's say, seams of where it goes from a cutscene to a gameplay. It just flows well. It's like this God of War 2018 thing where they did, where the game is like one full cinematic. There hardly is any black spots, or like there hardly is any change of scenery. You can't spot where the cutscene stops and where the gameplay starts.
Activate the Batmobile weapon diagnostics. It's time to go to war.
Also, at this point in the story, there's a type of Batmobile tutorial you can play. I actually did just to get to know how to operate the Batmobile properly.
Stage 1. Destroy targets to charge up weapon energy and activate missile barrage.
Then you are informed about the deployment of tanks in a part of the city, and bro, the glazing. Bro, imagine the government telling you that we are not equipped enough to deal with this, and thank God there's someone who is. And bro, you are literally the guy they are talking about on the radio.
I want everyone off the streets and back to GCPD. We're not equipped to deal with what's out there. Thank God there's someone who is.
I would actually call this another like combat scenario for the Batmobile. So this is another chance to try out. It actually just comes after the initial tutorial of the Batmobile. So I would call this like a tutorial level for the Batmobile. After that brief combat encounter, you told the director that the patrols can resume in Gotham City, and to also prepare a containment chamber for Poison Ivy. You can finally take Poison Ivy to GCPD, and you can actually finally enter GCPD after how many Gotham games, bro? After locking up Poison Ivy, you get the chance to explore the GCPD facility, so you can actually pick up a little bit of detail here, where first of all you can see Director Gordon being angry about them classifying the whole Gotham thing as just civil unrest, and him complaining that they don't have enough police officers to deal with it.
Civil unrest? There's a war on the streets. We don't have the manpower or the equipment.
Well, look who it is.
Secondly, you can see some of the captains telling them that like if you want to quit, now is a good time. Nobody will like
Evacuate. You all made your choices. You have my word that each and every one of you will be commended when this is over. The work starts now. Priority 1.
So you can just get little details like that in the game. Also, you can run into one of the police officers that is beginning to fall in love with Poison Ivy, and you can hear some of the goofy dialogue he has to say.
Hey, Batman. I think I'm starting to find Ivy, attractive. Is that normal? I studied horticulture at college. Maybe that's it.
Another cool Easter egg here in this station is that you can run into some of the police officers like admiring the Batmobile and being like, whoa, this thing is so cool.
Serious upgrade. Air support saw it turn into some kind of tank. Nice.
Don't get too close. He's here. Back up.
Another little Easter egg here, you can see the police officer you play as in the beginning that was gassed with the fear toxin is actually here in the GCPD facility, and you can see them being like, oh, it's so sad to see this guy like this.
Yep, poor bastard. He ain't gonna be able to live with himself when he finds out what he did in that diner.
He's gonna lose his badge for sure.
Owens is a good cop, lives for the job. He don't deserve this.
You should hear some of the stuff he's saying. Sounds like he's dying in there.
Also, the guy you arrested at the beginning of the game that was driving the vehicle and they tried to inject you with the fear toxin is also here, and like he will talk some like shit about you, and you can like bang his head on the gate. He's really fun guy.
For nothing. He's got plans.
Then finally you meet up with Officer Gordon in the precincts, and you get introduced to like a type of mission board type of thing on both the station, like on both the station's television, and you can also access it through your menus. After all that, you get introduced to the afterburner mechanic. It's like basically just a nitro boost to the Batmobile. Really cool.
Ready soon.
With all the missions that we were offered from Gordon, we decided to go rescue the firemen first. So we came to one of the locations where one of the firemen were located, and we breached, engaged in a bit of light combat, then got information from the guy about where the other firemen were. Then after that, we continued our Scarecrow's quest, because I think we couldn't go further with the fireman's mission, the rescue fireman mission. So we continued with the Scarecrow's quest. Then you go to the clock tower and meet up with Oracle concerning the fear toxin that the driver guy tried to inject you with.
Do I come in the Batcave, start messing with all your stuff?
You've managed to reduce the compound to its core elements.
But there's nothing in there that we can trace.
What if we'd been looking at this the wrong way? Instead of searching for the toxin, what if we focus on the manufacturing process?
You and Oracle have finally discovered a way to narrow down the search area of where you need to search for to get where the fear toxin is being manufactured. So all you need to do now is to repurpose some radio towers. So basically, like I said, the game takes place in 1.9, so you really don't have time to wait for the satellite to come around. According to what she said in the cutscene, they needed to wait for the satellite to like come around and scan the whole Gotham City, but according to Batman, they did not have time, so they needed to repurpose the radio towers. We make our way to the radio towers we need to narrow down Scarecrow's location, and we find out that it needs more energy. Then we get introduced to yet another mechanic of the Batmobile, which is Batmobile puzzle sections.
Is the power winch ready for deployment?
It's 100% functional, though no guarantees if you're intending to pull that car of yours up the side of a building.
You read my mind.
It's in the job description, Mr. Wayne. Batwing's on its way.
So basically, for the puzzle section, we have to drag this this billboard down so that it can give us a direct view into the roof we need to get on to get our car to the points of the antenna where we need to power. We need to power like the antenna directly with our Batmobile. So basically, Batmobile puzzle section. It is, I would call it, I think, one of the most annoying parts of this game. It's not bad per se, but imagine it has been given 10 over 10, 10 over 10, 10 over 10. This is like a 7. So it's not bad, but compared to the other parts of the game, it's one of the weaker parts of the Batman Arkham Knight experience. Just a pro tip: a majority of these Batmobile puzzle sections are usually like a lot easier with the battle mode of the battle. So just hold your L2 and you can have like this omnidirectional movement, and it's really nice. It makes it easier, honestly. Also, you can make a lot of silly mistakes with this Batmobile puzzle in these Batmobile puzzle sections. That's why I think they are a lot finicky. They don't really act well. Like this time, I got my Batmobile flipped like backwards, and like I could not turn it on the like. I will just play the image. I'll play the video so you can see what I'm talking about. It's hard to explain, but that is one of the reasons I don't really like the Batmobile puzzle sections. After going through all that again and getting the Batmobile to land properly on the side of the building, I was able to finally get the Batmobile to where I needed it to be, to power the generator that will power the antenna that will help me get the location of Scarecrow. So I think that's the way a lot of the quests in this game will be designed, basically, where you need something to get something that would help you get something. I think it's that kind of thing, but I'm not complaining. It's a really nice quest design system and also a really nice game. At this point, we get introduced to Robin, and I think Batman doesn't really want him out on the field and stuff like that. We don't really get like, without I've gotten into the game, at least we don't really get an explanation as to why Batman doesn't want Robin out there, but at least we get a mention of him at this point in the game.
What you're working on is more important, Tim.
Can wait one night. Let me help.
I've got this under control.
Okay. Listen, try checking in once in a while. We're partners, remember?
He just wants to help, you know.
Is the antenna ready?
Yeah, but we're going to need a microwave tower to triangulate Scarecrow's location.
The first tower down, we need a second microwave tower that would help us triangulate the location of where the fear toxin is being produced. So with that, we have to go to a second location, which is Falcone Shipping. And since the Batmobile is busy powering the first tower, we really don't have access to it in this section of the game. So it will force you to traverse the city in a different, like how you did it previously in the previous game. So there's no Batmobile to help you traverse the city again. So basically, also you get introduced to the new Batsuit in this section of the game, guy. Like, I think I will just let the animation or the video of it play on the screen, and like you will see how cool it is, bro. The new Batsuit is really cool. You get to fight some cronies to get access to the tower controls. So after you beat some of the cronies, you get your new batsuits, then you take out the remaining cronies, and then you get access to the tower. Also, if you pay attention, you will notice that I think when Batman makes calls on the older suit, it's kind of a like grayish, white and black type of effect. But with the new suit, I think the video feed is a bit clearer. So everybody Batman talks to now on the camera feed, you can see they look a little bit better, and like those little type of attention to detail that I really enjoy as a gamer. After putting both towers online, you throw a battering up, and there's a bit of a mini game to like triangulate where how to find Scarecrow with the help of the two towers. Again, like I said, these Rocksteady developers, they try as much as possible to like not get any black screen. So the whole animation of the battering flying through the city going up, you go into the section of the mini game, then that whole animation continues and you get back the battering guy. Is one of the coolest, bro. Like, they actually really went hard on the animation.
Producing the toxin. Jim, I've traced the fear toxin to Ace Chemicals. That's where we'll find Scarecrow.
Impossible. I've had a team there ever since the evacuation started, just like you asked.
Crane must have bought them off. Or worse.
I'm in the area. I'll round up my gun.
Also, since you don't have to keep that first tower powered anymore, you get access back to your Batmobile. I also feel this will be like a old mechanic where the Batmobile is somewhere powering something and you don't have access to it for some sections of the game. It's a cool way to introduce that, how would I say, that mechanic per se. Then as Batman, we make our way to Ace Chemicals to go and basically intercept Scarecrow.
Any word from inside?
Nothing. We think there's a skeleton crew left in there, but they're not responding and the facility's locked down.
If they're still alive, I'll find them. They should be able to tell us what Scarecrow's up to.
Then we get introduced to the villain the game is named after, the Arkham Knight. He comes in with a helicopter and like he's all like, Batman, you die tonight. Then Scarecrow is like, just calm down, guy. We could take him on that time. Then it's a whole thing. But basically, this is basically like a good villain introduction.
Time to die, old man. In death, he has nothing left to fear. Keep him away from Ace Chemicals. Your vengeance will come. This ends tonight.
Also, to remind us that the game takes place in just one night. You can hear Scarecrow tell the Arkham Knight that your vengeance will eventually come, and the Arkham Knight will be like, okay, this ends tonight, nodding back to the fact that the whole game takes place in just one night.
Stay here, and I'll go find out.
And I think that is where we would end the video for today. And basically, leave a like and subscribe if you like the commentary I made over this little gameplay clip. It is actually a lot of work to put all this together, but a like and a subscribe will really encourage me at this period of time. Come back for more, because I plan on posting this whole thing as a series. Stick to me if you want to watch more Find House content. I also play more multiplayer games and more co-op shenanigans. And with that, I will catch you guys on the next one.